Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Manifest the Rest with me, Svetlana. So, I just got back from a vacation. I went on a week-long cruise with my boyfriend to the Caribbean, and they did change our itinerary like the day before, which was a little quite annoying, to be honest, but it's because of weather. So, of course, we'd rather be safe than sorry. And the weather was phenomenal because we completely changed direction. But if you are not a cruiser, I was never a cruiser until 3 years ago when I met him. It's about the ships. It's about all the activities and all the shows on the ships. It's like literally an island that's moving around the ocean. Mm. But anyways, the reason I bring this up is because I completely unplugged. I chose to not listen to any podcasts, not post any content, no emails, nothing. Just be present. I did have one self-help book that I would read occasionally, so I couldn't completely just disassociate. I mean, this is what I do. But it was really nice to be just not think about it because that's what I used to struggle with a lot. Whenever I would go home or go on a vacation, I felt like I wanted to enjoy the vacation, but I also wanted to make sure that I showed up. I continued posting and sharing and doing all the things because it is like my life, right? And I love doing it. But this time I chose to just unplug and like disassociate, although it might be a little, might not be the best word there. And it was really nice. And it was great to come back into my routine and not feel like stressed or spiral, which is what I usually did. I would think, oh, I didn't show up enough. Oh, why did I even do that? And with the habits alongside with that, I did journal and meditate the first few days and then I just stopped. And same thing, when I came back, I didn't spiral. I didn't think, oh, I wish I should have meditated every day. Why did I only do it once? That, oh, I stink. Like, why can't I stick to it? The consistency's not there. Spiral, complete spiral. And I didn't do that this time. And that just shows growth, pat on my back, like celebrate. I'm all about celebrating the wins, right? I do feel good. I feel great. My habits weren't there, but that's okay. I'm diving right back into them. And I'm also realizing that next time, I think I do want to make sure that I stick to some of those habits. 5 minutes of meditating, not even, and like a 5 minute journal sesh, completely doable. And I think will really benefit me like in the long run and in the short term too. So that's nice to come back and be able to reflect without any sort of shame or guilt. And just want to make sure I share that because sometimes people look like they have it all together and they go on vacation and do this and that. And it's tough. It's not easy to balance everything, right? To unplug, to completely like remove yourself from work, to stick to your habits, but then enjoy yourself. I get it. So you have to figure out that balance for yourself, whatever that may be. Maybe you do want to just completely dive into vacation and not do anything, just eat and drink and be merry. Or maybe you want to keep a little bit. It's all about you. I always want to emphasize that because everybody's looking for the answers. And unfortunately, it's not a one size fits all. It's not. And I have to repeat that. We know this, we hear it, but we still want to do the exact same thing that somebody else is doing. So use all the tools that I share, trial and error, experiment, maybe do a little bit on vacation and then try not doing anything and then see how you feel. Journal, reflect, whatever you need to do, voice note, voice memo. Now, the other thing that I wanted to share, which dives into the topic of today's episode, was about self-love. Because again, I didn't do my habits. I ate a lot of food. I drank, didn't exercise, right? So my body's not feeling like tip-top shape coming back. But again, I'm not spiraling. I'm not thinking, oh, I got to juice for this week. I got to exercise so much to, balance out what I did last week. No, none of that. We are operating and manifesting from complete and utter total self-love. And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about self-love and I want to talk about becoming absolutely obsessed with yourself and your life today, right now, before the manifestations happen. All right. So, how does the self-love piece tie in? I will explain. The reason is you can't create from a place of lack and a place of hate. You can only create and manifest from a place of love, from a place of abundance. And when you fall in love with your life right now and you maintain that love for yourself every single day, no matter what is happening outside of you, that is when you open the channel to your dream reality. Okay. If you want your dream life, it starts with falling in love with the life that you have now. Tripping over my words there. More coffee. So, right now, if you're not completely obsessed with your life, it's because you are trying to manifest from a place of lack or of not having something. You're thinking, I want the car, I want the job, I want the body, I want the relationship, then I'll be happy. I was in that vicious cycle for years and years and years and years on end. I broke that cycle, and that is when my life completely transformed inside out, right? As within, so without. I started falling in love with everything I had right in that moment. Not when I got the money, not when I got the body, not when I got whatever I wanted, but I decided and I realized that I needed to become obsessed with what I have right now. Because what if I never get those things? What am I going to do? Just be miserable and hate my life for the rest of my life, rest of eternity? No, I wanted to fall in love with everything, figure out a way to change my perspective and just enjoy everything. Because why am I tying my happiness to something that I don't know when is going to come, if it's ever going to come? Right? That's not a life worth living, if I'm being honest. I want to feel good right now. And we know those stories. We see videos of people that have nothing that are so unbelievably happy and dancing and enjoying their life. And then you got people that have all the money in the world that look miserable. Which one do you want? Right? I want to be happy. I want the money. Don't get me wrong. I want the nice things. I'm a bougie girl, but I want to be happy. I don't want the money at the expense of love and joy and gratitude and everything. Okay. So, how do we actually start obsessing with our life? Okay. Because I get it. Maybe your body is not where you want it to be, and it's tough for you to look in the mirror and honestly like love yourself. This is where that self-love piece comes in, right? Self-love and loving your life because, well, you are your life. So I did an episode on weight loss, and I'm going to cover a couple examples. I know that your body fitness is a very common thing that we want to manifest, and we're always working at it. And then there's also money and relationships. So I'm going to cover a couple of examples, but let's start with the body, especially because it relates with I just went on vacation, so my body's not where I want it to be right now, but I still love it. I'm not spiraling. So again, going back to like manifesting from frustration, anger, or self criticism. You're not going to manifest what you want. You're going to keep manifesting more of that low frequency. It's like what you focus on expands. I'm going to keep throwing in these common phrases because they're so simple, but so true. It's life. What you focus on expands. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. If you're focusing on how much you hate your job, you hate your body, this and that, you hate being single, you're just going to keep noticing that. You're going to keep focusing on that. We don't want more of that. We want what we want. So maybe you're thinking, you look in the mirror and you're like, I hate my stomach, my thighs are too big, my arms are too like flabby, I'll never get the body I want. Okay. The energy that you are creating here keeps you stuck in self-sabotage, overeating, under-exercising, shaming yourself, binging, right? It's going to repel the body you actually want because you're stressed out and like just for the purposes of this podcast and examples, you're miserable, right? Maybe you're not to that extreme, but bear with me. When you operate from love, like look in the mirror, and this is going to be uncomfortable. Everything, when we start shifting into not complaining, into appreciation and gratitude of everything, it's going to feel weird because it's not what you're used to. You're used to complaining. You're used to venting and ranting and like hating on things, even if you're not a miserable person, okay? I was never like a miserable or depressed person, but I complained a lot. I still do. I admit it. I vented and ranted a lot. I'd complain. My inner dialogue, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, was awful. Like I was just constantly criticizing myself. Like, oh, my hair's a mess. Like, oh, like my body. Like, oh, why can't I do this? Why can't I be consistent? Why can't I like? Oh my gosh, let's stop. And so that's what I did. I cut the crap and it was uncomfortable. I'm going on a tangent here, but it was weird. I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, okay, positive self-talk, right? Let's appreciate ourselves. And it's not toxic positivity. We're not looking in the mirror and accepting defeat. We're not saying, okay, this is the body I'm stuck with. I have to figure out how to love it. No, 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 no. That's not what we're doing either. I do not want you to settle. If you want a better body, we're going to love the one that we have. But we're going to then, with that energy, we're going to create the body we want. So you start looking in the mirror and you tell yourself, I love my body for everything it does. I want to nourish it. I want to take care of it. I want to celebrate it. And when you have that type of energy towards yourself, you attract habits, right? When you say, I love my body for everything it does for me, and you think about that and you really just like settle into that emotion, that feeling of like, wow, my body does so much for me. It heals me when I'm sick. It allows me to move and walk and this and that. Like my heart is pumping so much blood every single second, minute. You want to take care of it. You don't want to sit on the couch and eat chips, right? You want to actually go for a walk, go for a run. You are motivated. And that results in effortlessly having good habits, effortlessly taking better care of it. But when you're miserable, you're like, oh, I feel like crap. You're just going to sit on the couch and eat a bag of chips. I've been there. I did that. Okay. Do you see where that starts? So start by what actually does resonate. Maybe it's, I'm grateful for my body for taking care of me. Maybe there are parts of your body. I did a whole episode on weight loss, so I don't want to spend too much time on this point, but again, I got to finish my examples. Start with the things that you do love, and then maybe we can start transitioning and just like talking about everything about your body, even the parts that you maybe dislike. You know, it's with love that's going to carry it through. That's going to bring you to that next level that you want to get at. Okay, now let's move on to another example. Money, career. You maybe hate your job, right? You're complaining about it. I hate my job. I don't make enough money. I have so many bills. You're anxious every time you get a bill. How are you supposed to be obsessed with your life when you're seeing your bank account and the numbers are just very small, right? It's lacking a lot of zeros. And your job is just miserable. You don't like it. You don't want to stay at this company. You're going to feel anxious and stressed and resentful and desperate to leave. You're like, I hate this. I want something else. That energy blocks abundance. So when we shift from that hatred, and I know that's an extreme word, but again, for the purpose of here, we're talking about hate and love. Let's shift into love. Let's find the things we do appreciate about our job. I appreciate my job for what it provides. It gives me a steady paycheck. I am learning some skills. I'm learning patience. I have great coworkers that I interact with. I'm excited to grow and receive more. Right now we're shifting into, okay, this is where I'm at. I'm excited of where I'm going next. All we're doing here is shifting from the complaining and the negativity to the positivity, to where we want to go, what we want to create more of. As a result, you're going to start noticing opportunities. You might even get raises. I know this might not make sense logically, but this is what happens when you shift your energy. The universe delivers. Side hustles might appear. You might just find somebody gives you a gift card. Maybe you get a refund for something, right? Or those like settlement checks that randomly come in the mail. Maybe you get that because you're vibrating from excitement and gratitude and abundance, not lack, not frustration and stress. Okay. Now, I have a lot of other points. Let me just take a look at my notes here. The other thing with the job is I want you to change I have to go to work, I have to do this to I get to. Because you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do shit. You get to. If you wanted to, you could just sit on your butt all day, do nothing. Yes, you'd probably lose your job. You wouldn't pay rent. Nothing would work out well, but you could do that because you have free will. You could sit there and do nothing. So you get to go make money. You get to go talk to people. You get to develop your skills. You get to choose your energy and how you show up today. This is such a huge change, huge shift. Something I really want you to think about every single day. If your job, your career, wherever you're at is not what you want it to be. Change that one word from have to get. I get to do this. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about relationships and money. Right. I hate being single. I hate dating apps. I hate the people I meet. It never works out. This stinks. You're repelling love. You are projecting more dissatisfaction, neediness, and impatience. And that's Well, plain and simple, it's repelling love. You're not going to get to where you want to be because you're just focusing on how everybody else has what you want. You're single, you keep, these apps stink, yada, yada, yada. If you shift that perspective and tell yourself, you know what? I love my life. I enjoy my life as it is. I have so many things I get to do being single. I love my friends, right? When we talk about love, what we want to manifest, let's find it, let's create it where we have it. I love going out with my friends. I'm open to finding love when it aligns. I trust it's coming. So I'm going to enjoy everything that I can right now. I'm having fun dating. I get to meet such a wide variety of people. I have so many stories to tell. This energy is going to naturally attract. It's going to attract high quality partners, the people that you want, and deeper connections. And it's also, again, going to shift your perspective and your view of your life. You're going to start loving and enjoying your life more and more and more. Maybe you don't like your living situation. Mm. You're not going to manifest a better living situation by complaining about your current situation. Okay, I'm repeating the same thing with all these different examples. Because I want you to make sure that whatever complaint you have, wherever you are feeling in lack or you don't like it, you can change it. So maybe you hate your apartment, right? It's too small, it's claustrophobic, this and that. Shift it. Right now you're going to feel stuck, frustrated, and defeated. Your energy you can't move into expansiveness with that. Because you're literally like, I hate everything. You're so constricted. Your energy, you're low frequency, low vibes, and you think you'll never get to where you want. And as a result, you're just going to stay in that. You're not going to notice apartments that might pop up within the right budget. Everything's going to be expensive. No one's going to tell you when you're in the energy. Sorry, I'm switching. Let's move into the love, right? When you're in the energy of, you know what, I'm going to find the best apartment. One of your friends is gonna be like, oh, hey, my neighbor is actually moving out and they need a sublet. And then you move, right? That's what happens. But rather than staying in your like hatred, stuck emotions, you're complaining and whining, no one's gonna be like, oh, like, I have an opportunity for you. No. But when you're like, oh, my apartment's not the best, it's really small, but I can't wait to see what's next, blah, blah, someone's gonna be like, oh my God, I actually just remembered this, this, this. But when you're complaining, people tend to complain as well, right? They match your energy. So let's shift that. Okay. And this is stuff that some of these I did unconsciously, like my apartment, my living situation in Boston when I first graduated. Oh my God, my apartment. I lived with my two best friends in high school, and our apartment, it was in the best location. But I don't know how we lived there. I think we lived there for 2 years at least. Yeah. The ceiling was falling apart. Like it's one of those like old elementary school ceilings where you can like lift the tile squares. That was like falling apart. The washer, we shared a washer with like three other guys. There was one washer dryer in the basement. And then, so we had to walk down these like creaky stairs. The dishwasher we had to pull out and connect it to the sink with a hose. Like it was comical. But I honestly don't think I ever like truly complained about it because I loved what was happening. I was living with my best friends, living in the best city. There were so many people around us, like the same age, same like environment, same vibe. And it was fun, right? We laughed about it. We would like throw parties because, it wasn't like a nice place. So whatever. It was a blast. Like I look back at that experience like that was amazing. And then I had one apartment here, my last apartment actually, before the one that I'm currently in. My room was tiny, tiny. But I was also, again, living with one of my best friends. I'm living in California, in Los Angeles. I've no complaints. Yes, the space was tight, but you know what? I'm making the most out of it. I didn't complain about it because I had these amenities and I had this and this, right? I'm changing the energy. And same with that. Maybe your space is really small. Maybe you want your dream house. You're like, I'm sick of this. Decorate the shit out of your place right now. Make it fun, make it a vibe. Why are you waiting until the next thing? Or buy some nice appliances. Why are you waiting until you get a really nice fancy house, your dream house, to get all of the nice things? That's actually a financial, yeah, decision. That would be really smart because if you wait until you have the dream apartment, the dream condo, dream house to buy all of the nice appliances, oh, that's going to be pricey, right? We don't use like expensive things, words like that, but Think about it. Now you're paying for a nicer place. You're gonna have so many other things to buy, and you're gonna want to decorate. Start getting some nice things now. Then you're gonna have to get less later, right? Little tangent doesn't relate to the topic of today, but there's so many benefits to that. So these are very simple ways to change your perspective to start enjoying where you are now. Okay? We want to romanticize the hell out of everything. Make your morning coffee an entire ritual, a vibe. Blast music in the morning. Okay. If you have to leave, you have to go to work or you work from home, does not matter. Make the morning fun. Blast some pump up music. You know my favorites, old 2000s music or Disney songs. Such a strange genre that I'm into. Blast some fun music. And if you have roommates, be respectful. Maybe you guys wake up at the same time and make it a whole party in the morning. Make some fun coffee, get some fun cups, right? I talked about my whole sleeves, customized sleeves thing. You can make everything so much more fun and so much more enjoyable. And this is how you start obsessing with your life. And I'm again talking from experience. All of these things I did, right? The living situation, I enjoyed everything. That was something I luckily did not really complain about, right? Even my walks, like, yeah, it was really overcast a lot of the times in Boston in the winter, but I still loved that I could go on my walks. I had a great walking route and I would visualize the palm trees, and now here I am. But there were things that I had to shift, like my relationship status and my body. Those are things that I had to consciously start loving where I was right now because I was never going to manifest the confidence and security in my body, a healthy relationship with food, and actually manifest the love of my life by constantly complaining about those things. I had to start obsessing with it. And that is what I did. I started loving and appreciating my body for where it was. I started loving that I had so much free time and so many girlfriends to hang out with. And I was always doing activities, running left and right. I was the like yes girl, saying yes to every activity, staying out till I was the last one to leave the party. And it was great. It was so much fun. And that is how I manifested those two things that I really wanted, my body and my partner. Now, the other thing, we're just jumping into the next point, is I want you to stop rushing. This is what we're so like accustomed to, especially in these like big cities in the corporate world, and maybe others. I personally have only worked in the corporate world, but we're rushing. We are always rushing. I think America as a whole, we're always rushing. Like, slow down. How are you going to appreciate your dinner or your lunch when you're like scarfing it down? Sit down, pause for a second, and think about like, damn, this is a nice ass salad from Sweet Green. Those salads are amazing. And like appreciate it and enjoy it for a minute. You're sitting outside, maybe you have like a 30-minute break. You're eating your lunch, just enjoy it. Stop scarfing it down and staring at your phone, scrolling the whole time. This is how we create like this life that we're obsessed with by appreciating these small moments. It's the process, it's the small things that add up that create your life. It's not the big things. We put so much emphasis on the big manifestations, right? The dream job, the house, the money, the this, that, the trip. Start highlighting all the small things, the small details, romanticize them. Pause, enjoy, be more present, and then you're going to start loving everything, right? Because when you pause, you can actually sit in the appreciation. But when you're rushing, you're not thinking about like in traffic, you're stuck in traffic, you're rushing off to work or to an appointment. You're not thinking about, wow, yeah, traffic sucks, but I got a nice car. I'm listening to music. I got air conditioning and I'm blasting Taylor Swift's new album, right? That's awesome. Now I'm loving life right now. Yes, I still want to get to my appointment on time, but I'm appreciating this a little bit more than I did before. Okay. Now, the other point, the next point is learning to appreciate the process. Okay. Where you are right now is where you are. We also have to like accept that, right? Part of loving where you're at is accepting, all right, this is where I'm at in this point in time. I'm here. And here's my goal, right? I want to be here. Whatever that is, right? Your career, your where you live, your romantic situation, whatever it is you want. You're here, and here's your dream. You're going to go through a process, like a journey when you get to that goal, whether maybe it's like a sports, like a race, right? This is your time and you want to make this time. There's a journey, right? A learning curve, if you will. You train, right? Watch yourself evolve. That is so much fun. When you look back, like think about where you are at now and where you were 5 years ago. Could you imagine, like, rewind, put yourself back into your body 5 years ago and tell yourself, like, this is where you're going to be? It's going to be like, wow, I can't believe I did that. I never thought that's where I was going to go. Right? You're literally watching yourself evolve in real time. That's wild. And when you start like getting excited about it, well, you start loving it. Even with your mindset shifts, maybe like instead of reacting, you paused. Like I love noticing when I am able, like I used to be very reactionary. If that's the right word. And then I worked on that. And I'm not reactive anymore. I pause and I think and I'm not impulsive. And it was really nice to start noticing that and catching that. It's kind of like celebrating those small wins. I was like, wow, I'm actually growing. I'm noticing this, right? It starts with self-awareness. But that's a really like fun part of the process. So I want you to think of that as well. Like where you're at right now, get excited because you're going to get to where you want to be. You're going to get to that end goal. So get pumped about this transition. Get pumped about when you get to your goal, again, whatever that may be, you're going to look back and be like, wow, I can't believe I did that. I did all of that. I changed. My body changed. My career changed. My whole life changed. And you did all of that. So start thinking about the journey. Start noticing it, enjoying the process. Fall in love with the journey because the journey is life, right? All those little moments add up to your life. They create your life. The entire journey is your life. Once you get to that goal, you're going to have a new goal. So start getting pumped about it. And then the next point, we're almost done here, is I want you to change your inner dialogue. All right. And I kind of touched upon this with the examples, but when you shift your inner dialogue and you're constantly talking to yourself in your head, right? You have so many thoughts going on. And when you change that inner dialogue from criticism to admiration, you start radiating with a different energy. You radiate confidence. Right? Stop focusing on your flaws. Stop focusing on how you're always late. You forgot to do this project. You went over on this. You were late to this appointment. You didn't do the presentation the way that you wanted to. It didn't come out the right way. Let's stop that. Let's shift because guess what? No one's perfect. Even the people that you admire the most, they mess up. You might look at somebody and be like, that was incredible. And they're gonna respond and be like, really? I thought that sucked. Right. So we all look at ourselves not in the best light, typically. Okay. Unless you do that amazing, great mindset work for you. Proud. We're all striving to be like that. But I want you to slowly shift that. Okay. Anytime you catch yourself maybe saying something critical about yourself, shift it to admiration. Say something positive. Like, you know what? I made it to here. I'm so pumped that I did that. That is so cool. Like, I moved across the country by myself. I didn't know anybody. That's incredible. Or I did that entire project by myself without any help from my manager. Incredible. Look at you being a leader. You start radiating confidence, right? We got to hype ourselves up. Be your biggest hype girl, hype fan, right? Because people, opportunities, abundance responds to that energy. And maybe this might help you, but the way that you talk about yourself, if you are in a relationship, right? If you're not, just think of like your friend, right? You have a friend. And we know this example. You're never going to go to your friend and be like, you're fat, you're ugly, you're always late, you do this, you do that. You wouldn't be friends with them, right? They wouldn't be friends with you if you talk to them like that. So let's talk about ourselves differently too. Talk to yourself like you're your best friend, like you are your loving partner, your soulmate, right? Because you are, right? It's you. At the end of the day, it's you. So start obsessing with yourself, admiring yourself, radiate confidence, be the person that you want someone to like admire, right? Be your best friend. Be your biggest like inspiration, your biggest mentor. When you shift that inner dialogue, it's going to reflect in your energy and how you show up, literally how you stand, how you speak. and just how you show up in the world. And the universe is going to respond to that energy as well, right? Like I said, people are going to talk differently around you. People are going to gravitate towards you. You're going to notice opportunities because you're open to them. You're excited about them. You know you're awesome. So you're going to start catching all these opportunities like, "Oh my God, I'm so awesome. Look at all these things." That's what happens. Call it the law of attraction, but this is just the law, the universal law. Your energy creates your life. We are all energy. I'm not going to go down that path right now, but really think about that. Okay. Think about how you talk to yourself. Start being conscious of it because a lot of us are very unconscious. We're walking around unconsciously, truly. Okay. 95% of our brain is subconscious, and those thoughts are repeated every single day. So try to start noticing them and changing them. Okay. And kind of the last point that I want to end here is believe that you are iconic right now. Okay. This is how you become obsessed with your life. You are an icon. You are incredible. You've achieved so much. You're you're going to start seeing everything as part of your glow up story. Okay. So maybe you're not where you want to be, but you're going to get there. Okay. So start believing you're already there. And then you're going to tell your story. When you get there, you're going to be like, oh, this is where I was. I started changing my mindset. I started realizing, you know what? I'm an icon. I'm incredible. I'm legendary. And then you're going to start becoming her, becoming them, right? The late nights, the learning curves, the little wins, they're all proof that you are in motion, that you are moving to where you want to be. And when you carry the energy of my life is already incredible, I am iconic, I am amazing, right? Whatever adjectives you want to use, the universe is going to mirror it back to you tenfold. Okay. So it all starts and ends with you. Let's end it with a cliche little phrase here. But this is how you become obsessed with your life. When you become obsessed with the now, you create, again, being cliche, you create magic. You're going to create an even better and better life. And I am talking from experience, guys. I'm so fucking obsessed with my life. I am so happy and amazed at everything I've created. My mindset, my perspective, everything has changed. And no, not every day is perfect. Absolutely not. But holy shit, when I think about where I was and where I am now, it's because I started obsessing. I started loving everything. I started appreciating everything, having so much gratitude, gratitude rants 24/7, right? Noticing all the amazing things around me, telling myself how incredible I was. And now here is where I'm at. And I can't wait to see where I'm going to go next. So I hope you guys found value from this. I mean, I you must have because I'm amped just talking about it. But if you did, let me know. I always love hearing your thoughts from the podcast. If you have not already reviewed and subscribed to the podcast, please do so. It helps the podcast reach more people. We got to send this message around, right? We want more people to raise the vibration, start living their dream realities, start obsessing with their lives. And with that, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.